All right, here we go. Yet another, friends. Doc South here, and I thought, well, here it is. I'm doing this one, this is middle of January, and I don't know, we've had some cold weather, very cold weather. Now today, all the snow's getting washed away by a very heavy rain. We'll probably be up to mud, up to our necks in mud, and the river's rising just a little. I don't think we'll be too bad. It has to go up quite a bit to get to our house, but you get the idea. Yeah, it's just one of those days. Blah. It's a good spaghetti day, best I can say. All right. And so I've got this blurb I thought I'd read for you that was actually conceived back on, about 2 or 3 4th of Julys ago at the Washington fireworks. Washington, New Jersey fireworks, their 4th of July celebration. I think they call it Washington Celebrates America. It's a great small town, hometown kind of thing. Parade, fireworks, soapbox derby. It's an amazing thing. Yeah. And luckily they asked me to DJ for the fireworks, which I just dearly love to do. Anyway, this one's called A Refreshing Drink. I'm going to read it, but also I may break into to explain a little as we go, but I better hurry if I'm going to get this done. Okay. A refreshing drink. It was the 4th of July, and I was walking down the sidewalk in small-town America, browbeating myself up one end and down the other. I don't know if the right side of my brain was mad at the left or vice versa. I just didn't know. There were plenty of people around sitting in lawn chairs on the sidewalk watching me. They must have thought I was nuts. I just stood in the shade of a big old tree, grumbling. After a minute or two, I called a truce with myself and took the time to go over what I had just done. Let me explain. I was in the town of Washington, New Jersey to play records for their annual Independence Day fireworks celebration. That wouldn't be until sundown. In the meantime, they were having a parade. It had just started about a mile away and was heading to an eventual finish line about where I was standing. Many spectators were choosing just the right spot to see this parade when it finally came into this neighborhood. It was winding all over town. There were folks in lawn chairs, kitchen chairs, sitting on beach blankets. Kids were up in trees. I even saw 2 girls in bathing suits up on a roof with their legs dangling off the side of a low building. Further downstream on the other end of town, the parade was already in full operating mode. You could hear it if you were quiet, but no one was quiet. Yeah, as a lot of cheering. As always, right up front, the parade features a color guard of soldiers proudly presenting Old Glory to the crowd. Usually a good-sized band is right behind them, marching tight. You can bet your bottom dollar and then some that they'll be playing a nice assortment of very patriotic songs as the flag passes by for all to honor. When the colors approach and pass, everybody, and I do mean everybody, stands and cheers until they can cheer no more. Maybe if you had just fallen critically ill on the sidewalk, you could get away with not standing. Maybe. That would depend on just how really sick you were. By the way, being drunk is no excuse. I've seen some very wobbly winos sober up, come to a sharp salute, and stand so straight that you'd think they were General Patton, ready to review his troops. It's amazing what the flag can do. Yes, indeed. The great parade moment was coming soon for these folks, but right now they were all busy talking to one another, slathering sunscreen onto their kids. Not many, if any, were watching me as I scratched my head and pondered my next move. I had just allowed finances to get in the way of doing the right thing, and I was pretty mad about it. True, I'm mad at myself, yeah. True, I couldn't be more broke when you get right down to it than I was that day. Still, 50 lousy cents to do a good turn is a pretty hot bargain. I consider myself sworn to doing at least 1, preferably 3, good deeds each and every day. So I was embroiled in thought about how to retrace my stupid footsteps and set things right. You see, about a block away and a block and a half away was this little fella selling lemonade on the sidewalk in front of the house. He couldn't have been more than 4 years old. I thought he had a pretty good stand all set up too. I mean, it was neat and clean. I had a nice clean milk crate on its side. It looked like he took time to clean it and clean it well. Trust me, from working in a dairy aisle at a local supermarket, I know when a milk crate is dirty, and this one sparkled. On the front of the crate was a kid-drawn sign that said "Ice Cold Lemonade for Sale." I think he also had drawn a crayon picture of a pitcher just under the letters. I think his parents spelled out lemonade for him. He did the other words, sort of. Yeah, again, he was only 4. On top of the crate were 4 plastic punch glasses filled to the brim with lemonade and ice. I think I saw a container of one of the popular lemonade mixes lurking in the shadows of his home's front doorway. A pitcher of ice water stood right nearby. The kid walked up to me as I walked along the curb in front of his home. I thought he looked pretty sharp for a kid his age. Actually, he looked a whole lot sharper than I ever would have at 4 years old. The little guy's shorts weren't all tattered. His T-shirt was all nice and clean and had a business-like solid color to it. It might have been a golf shirt. I forget what color it was, but it was something pastel. There wasn't any wacko wording on it to alienate a prospective client. His crew cut was recently brushed. I thought I smelled Brill cream. He even went so far as to follow the cardinal rule of salesmanship. Yes, friends, he out and out asked me if I wanted a nice glass of lemonade. That's right, he asked for the sale, and he said it well. "Hi, mister, would you like a nice cold lemonade? Only 50 cents for a full glass." Darn, that kid was good. I should get him to sell my book for me. Yeah. Oh, my. And, but like a rat, I turned him down. Oh, I was nice enough about it. I probably said some dumb, lame thing like I was in a hurry or I wasn't thirsty. All of this was lies, rotten lies. I had at least 4 hours until I had to start playing, so I wasn't in a hurry. And tell the truth, it was hot out and I was thirsty as could be. Darn, but that lemonade looked pretty good, but I was too stupid and cheap to get one. I kept on walking as the kid closed on a good note, saying something like, well, I'll be here for the whole parade, mister. Come back if you want one. And I was so ashamed. As soon as I got far enough away, I started kicking myself. I got to thinking how that little guy probably launched his money-making plans days ago. He most likely went to the supermarket to price out the best deal on a good lemonade mix. I can see him checking the total cost per glass figures and running them down running them by his dad or mom. They had the calculator out. They probably worked the calculator for him so that he'd know which mix would be the most cost effective. He probably noted with which mix sold best in the store. He figured, I'll bet that a cheap lemonade would do him no good on parade day if the customers hated the taste of it. I can just see him questioning housewives and mothers in the aisles of the supermarket for their opinion. I could see him heading off to bed and saying his prayers for good weather for the 4th. He probably wondered if he should put up a sign on his lawn touting the fact that make that great and refreshing lemonade would be on sale before, during, and after the parade. He was pretty good at selling, so he figured, I'm sure, that a sales force in place might not float the boat unless some other kid put up a stand across the way. He probably considered the concept of lemonade sold in pouches to go for thirsty tuba players. I could almost see him hugging his piggy bank as his folks tucked him into bed. The kid was good, and I had to help. I just couldn't let him. I couldn't let him work so hard and only make a measly sale or two. I had to do my part. I bit my lip, said a prayer, and turned myself around, heading back to his stand. I was about 40 feet away when he spotted me and smiled. The kid was good. He could tell he had a sale, and he was gracious about my coming back. He didn't say a thing about how I didn't find any cheaper lemonade down the block, so I came crawling back because I was dying of thirst. No, this kid had class. All he did was smile and pick up a glass of lemonade and handed it to me, saying, "Here you are, mister. That'll be 50 cents, please." Yes, he even said please. I handed the kid a buck and sipped the lemonade as he figured out my change. His dad helped him by saying that he should give me 2 quarters as the kid was working on the change. I asked him what he was going to do with all the money he made today. He told me how he was going to pay back his mom and dad for whatever it cost them to provide the stand. Then he said how he was going to give the rest of the money to the poor. I don't know, but that was one great kid. One great kid. And not a mean bone in his body. I told him to keep the 2 quarters. He insisted on me having a second glass. I said that I was fine with 1 glass, but I did make a point of telling him that he was a good kid. I promised that I'd write a story about him. He smiled about that. Gosh, but that was a great lemonade. I don't think my story can top it for refreshment. Yeah, huh? Neat little kid. Anyway, there you go. Again, that was about 2 years ago, I think, at the Washington fireworks. Washington Celebrates America. Wonderful, wonderful parade and day in that town. Yeah, and they work very hard to provide it. It's really, really something you should see. That's Washington, New Jersey is that Warren County? I think, yes, Warren County. Yeah, between Hackettstown and Phillipsburg. It turns out there's a whole bunch of Washington, New Jerseys. Yeah, got it. I guess, well, George, made the route. Yeah, made the rounds back in the day. So anyway, there you go. God bless, friends. I hope that story made your cold winter day just a little nicer. It was a good day for me, I know. Bye now.